Has John Kerry lost his mind? Just days before Trump is expected to make a decision on the Iran nuclear deal, which sources close to the president tell CRTV he is going to leave by Thursday, so hallelujah. But then we've got John Kerry running around talking with Iranian officials in what people can only assume is an effort to sabotage the president's plan. Now, lest we forget, Iran is an enemy regime, and yet the former Secretary of State, John Kerry, he is backstabbing his own country. He is jeopardizing our own national security to collude, talk about collusion, to collude with them and save the Democrats' crappy deal. I mean, it's so serious, it's really serious that even the Democrats have come around and admitted how big of a deal this is.
This is a threat to our national security today. It's not funny, and this does amount to treason.
I mean, he was doing all sorts of stuff that would have set off alarm bells.
Logan Act that basically says you can't negotiate with a foreign power when you're a private citizen.
Dealing with a foreign power for personal political gain and putting the country's security at risk and undermining our democratic institutions.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Those were the wrong clips. That was actually them freaking out over Michael Flynn, who back in 2016 was revealed to have met with Russian officials over sanctions as the incoming national security advisor. But when it comes to John Kerry, actually, who has been out of power for over a year, the left has been mute. In fact, it seems they're almost making an effort to make this action sound as innocuous as possible. The Boston Globe, who originally reported the story, wrote, quote, "Kerry is quietly seeking to salvage Iran deal he helped craft." Oh yeah, guys, he's just trying to save his little baby. What could be wrong with that? Now, CNN piggybacked off of that. They wrote, John Kerry engaging in shadow diplomacy. Doesn't that sound nice? Shadow diplomacy to salvage Iran deal. Oh, just salvage it. And shadow diplomacy, I mean, that almost sounds like a noble thing needed to save the world. Shadow diplomacy. Now, to all you liberal experts in the media, whatever happened to calling it treason? Now, when it's Michael Flynn, I guess it's treason. But when it's John Kerry, your pal, it's just shadow diplomacy. Now, the president, I think, summed it up perfectly in a tweet. Quote, "The United States does not need John Kerry's possibly illegal shadow diplomacy on the very badly negotiated Iran deal. He was the one that created this mess in the first place." And don't forget, the Obama administration handed Iran pallets of cash, a deal that basically lets them completely off the hook, doesn't hold them accountable for building nuclear weapons, but in that tweet, Trump mentions the possible illegality. So let's talk about that. You've heard of the Logan Act because we played the talking heads on CNN mentioning it in the soundbite. It's an obscure statute from the 1700s that has never been used to prosecute anyone. But former Democratic acting Attorney General Sally Yates, this woman here, she used the Logan Act, that act, when she tried to grab Michael Flynn, this guy, for his meetings with Russian officials and used the statute as a pretext to send federal agents to him to question him. So are federal officials going to visit John Kerry anytime soon? And if not, why not? Because isn't conducting foreign relations as a private citizen worthy of questioning by your logic? And let's not forget, by the way, it's two completely different situations because Mike Flynn was a member of the Trump transition team reaching out to Russians, which is pretty standard, opening up a line of communication. That is entirely normal because every president's transition team is expected to start establishing relationships before the first official day in office, so they don't just get in on day one and like, what's on the plate? Now, Kerry, however, hasn't been in power for over a year. He is a true private citizen and a spurned and bitter one at that, actively working with a foreign government against his own president's agenda. In fact, Kerry is sabotaging our national security because he is unwilling to accept that this president would dare dismantle something he and the Democrats put in place. And that's what it really comes down to, isn't it? The one thing we all know, the one thing liberals believe in is power. And they cannot stand the fact that they don't have any of it right now. It infuriates them that they can no longer use the apparatus of big government to impose their will over others. And so they have turned to a shadow government to impose their ideas over the will of the American people. It's them putting the Democrat Party and its agenda and Obama's legacy over their country. And it's what we're seeing with the deep state. It's what we're seeing with the Russia witch hunt. It's what we're seeing now with John Kerry, assuming that he can just go and negotiate for the United States with foreign leaders, undercutting the current president and the American people who actually put him in office. It's entitlement is what it is, because liberals do not care what the American people think. They only care that their ideas get implemented, and for them, the ends will justify the means. They despise the very notion that someone they don't approve of could ever have power to call the shots, and they will even resort to illegal methods to undercut the pillars that uphold our constitutional republic. So don't expect to see any consistency from them on this, because there isn't going to be any, because that's not their goal. You would really hope that if they're going to call it treason, when Michael Flynn negotiated with a foreign power, they would be fair and be just as outraged when their side does it. But don't hold your breath. At the end of the day, this is not about principle. It's not about being consistent either. The left does not and has never cared about that. For them, this is about maintaining their power and making sure that their insidious designs, like the Iran nuclear deal, to which the American people have given a full-throated objection, never get unraveled.